Hello and welcome back. Today we have issue 10 of Hachette's Partwork Limited, the Dalek. Let's get this opened and take a look. So as always, we get our little box for the Dalek parts. This one's a little different with a sticker for the legal bits. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's got an actual manufacturer's date. But as always, it does list which issue this goes to. Then we have our magazine. Standard cover as always, purple top. This issue will have a look at Genesis of the Daleks Part 3. We get a funky looking Dalek montage or group shot there, very sort of 60s-esque. We get our contents page. Adventures in Time and Space looks at episode 3 of Genesis of the Daleks, and then step-by-step instructions for assembly. Is this issue a little shorter? I don't know. Yes, so this issue is only 12 pages, where previous issues have been 16, including the back page. Oh, previous issue 9 was also 11, 12 pages. So that's interesting, they're getting a little shorter. I think I mentioned very early on that I kind of expected them to get a bit short. I couldn't see them having enough material to follow to provide 3 years worth of magazines, so that's a bit of a shame. A little bit cheeky, I guess, in my opinion. And again, it comes back to I really wish that we could divide this up properly, but it is what it is. If I could, I suppose potentially you could take this apart yourselves and hole punch it into relevant sections. I may or may not look at doing that at some point, I don't know. But anyway, let's get down to assembly. So this issue looks to provide us the top of the dome and some cog mechanism holders, presumably for the eye stalk. So let's get this open, let's see what we've got, and let's get down to assembly. So, wrapped in a sealed envelope this time, we get our dome piece. We get a spring and 2 thick washers. We get 4. Yeah, there's one stuck in the bottom there. Got 4 BM screws. 4 BM screws. Put those to one side. I should get 3, 4, 5 AP screws. 3, 4, 5 AP screws. Typically we get 1 extra screw, so 5, we'll probably only use 4. And then this should be the housing for the cog, which it is. So initially we take our dome assembly, and check the eye is up the right way. So here you can see that the flatter edge is facing towards what will end up being the bottom of the Dalek, and the tab will be facing up towards the top of the dome. Okay, so initially we need to take the two bearing rings and fit them onto the hubs of the eye stalk. So they go on like that, and fit those in there. We then need our spring, and this will slide into a hole in the top of the dome and then fit onto the, so you can see there that it should now move. So the spring works, that's nice to know. Okay, so now we need to make sure the spring's fitted nice and snugly, and that the eye stalk is resting in the housing. You might need to be careful so the spring likes to ping up, otherwise we take the cog assembly and this should just slide on like so. We then take our 4 AP screws and just screw this into place. One, two, doesn't seem to want to in. Having some slight trouble with this aligning. Right, there we go. So that's better. So because this is sort of tilted, this sort of almost comes forward, so you want to make sure that the tab here is flush against the dome itself. I would recommend doing one of the top screws first rather than doing the bottom one like I did. It will help it sit flush and line up all of the other ports. and take one of the other screws. Once that's screwed in, the eyepiece should continue to move up and down. Just don't move it too much, otherwise your spring will come out. There we go. You can see that's done like so. And that's that. We can then look at fitting the dome, or the final piece of the dome, to turn it back up the right way. And this will just clip on the top like so. You'll feel it just slots into place quite nicely. Turn it back over to screw in 3 of our BM screws, and there are 1, 2, 3 screw ports. 1, 2, 3. That's something you'd be want to aware of. Without something to keep the spring properly in place, as this moves, it will launch itself out. And without pressure on the underside of the dome, the plate will try to push itself away. So what I am finding is the screws aren't quite fitting as snugly as some of the others, because it's an awkward position and it's sort of push back. That's it, eventually sealed. Took a bit of effort there because you don't get the same grip as you do on the other pieces, so trying to get your palm fitted in a way that you can put pressure on that and screw means something's always pushing back against the other, but got there in the end. Just going to refit the spring like so. That's up. And then there we go. Let's bring this around. And here we have the outside of the dome fully completed, and it does look stunning. Looks fantastic. Got solid metal there. You can see the lines which are respective to the actual Dalek there, which looks really nice. You got the eye stalk itself, which is going to move. With the spring in place, it's now holding it at a nice level. We've got the dome lights, which look great. And as we've seen, they do light up really nicely. I like the little silver paint dots on there. Yeah, this looks absolutely fantastic, and I am really excited to have just the dome itself completed. As you can see, it's a big piece. I don't think I've got a tape measure. Hang on. So this has a existing diameter of about 10 inches, give or take, so it's nearly a foot wide. Remember, this is probably the most narrow part of the Dalek, so width wise it's going to be even bigger once it's done. And given that the dome is complete, I thought for a little comparison I would bring in the character option 18-inch Dalek from about 2008-2009. This was a remote control with interactive elements. You'll have to excuse the dust, I do apologise for that, but as you can see here, this is the 18-inch one, and this is our dome in comparison, to give you a good idea of size there. This is definitely twice, if not 3 times the size of the dome. So yeah. So yeah, there we have our dome fully assembled. So I guess without further ado, let's see what we are getting next issue. So issue 11 will bring us another installment of the Time Vortex. We'll look at Davros's right-hand man, some more adventures in space with the survivors, and then in terms of parts we will be getting the eye stalk motor and various housing attachments. So yeah, looks like we're going to finally we're going to start building out the inside of the dome now with the various motors and electrics for the dome, and I guess eventually the powering the lights and things. So that's going to be exciting to see over the coming weeks and potentially months, depending on how the build continues. And then finally, without any further ado, we slide issue 10 away in its binder, and we are now complete for this week. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. Until then, stay safe.